Good evening. I'm Molly Rowland, and I channel Saint Germain. And I just wanted to take a brief moment to tell you that in the next few weeks, we will begin to introduce some of the other masters that I've channeled. I've completed my 38th year of channeling Saint Germain and the Council of Light. And as we begin the 39th, I thought it would be a lot of fun for you to meet some of the friends that I've developed over all these years. The goddess Kuan Yin, the Lord Michael, the goddess Breed that the Catholic Church calls the goddess Bridget. It is that there are many Kuan Yin, Isis, Artemis, and other masters that I have channeled over the years that I've been working with Saint Germain. So I just thought I would let you know that in the coming times, you'll be seeing some other masters other than just Saint Germain. So I now turn this over to the Master Saint Germain. And so this beautiful moon, this wondrous, great lunar eclipse, this time of healing, this time of clearing, this time of endings and beginnings. And so, beloved masters, this full moon in the sign of Pisces is a powerful aspect of the underscoring, I would say, of the fact that the Piscean age is passing away. It is ending. And it will be one of the greatest endings that humanity will experience as the Aquarian age is moving in and settling into place. And all of you, I'm sure, are feeling the vibrational shifts, the changes that are taking place. It is that this full moon makes a square to the axis of the chart of the United States. And when we say axis, the ascendant and descendant, the planet to the left of the chart in the east and to the right of the chart in the west, and the full moon squares. And this really does herald a time of changes in the United States. Anything that affects the United States affects the world, just, beloved masters, as anything that you do, that you think, that you say will influence the world also. So becoming more aware of the tremendous changes that are moving into place, the emphasis over and over is learning new ways, letting go of aspects of yourself and the life that you have lived, and letting them pass on, because who you are becoming is more and more, dearly beloved masters, who you have always been. And so to know that the transformations are everywhere, And they're bringing new levels of awareness and understanding if you are willing to take the time to get to know yourself. The logical mind has kept the focus out into the world for such a very long time that you've been told that the inner focus that we keep bringing you to doesn't even exist. So now you might say, changing your mind in order to change your life is most assuredly going to be an ongoing process that you will feel at a greater depth, more and more intensely as this year ends. The planet Pluto has moved out of bounds, which means that it's not exactly functioning as it normally would. If it goes out of bounds to the south, it's much more focused on the people. If it goes out of bounds to the north, it is much more focused on the authorities. So, dearly beloved masters, Pluto has gone out of bounds to the south. The focus is on the people of the planet, the people of the country that you live in, the people everywhere. And each one of you is an absolutely amazing, divinely unique being, a real person, not someone who is playing a part, not someone who is trying to be something that they were told they must be in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. It is to be, to uncover, to experience who you are in these coming times. You'll hear more and more about it. In fact, you will hear more and more from all over the planet because these changing times are influencing things that arise in places where astrology hasn't even been considered. And the fact that any other master might have something to say besides the Master Jesus. And of course, in the logical world, he's dead. And yet we are here to assure you that the masters, such as myself, are very much alive no matter how many lifetimes they've had. And if you go to the mirror and you look in your own eyes and you acknowledge to yourself, I am very alive after all the lifetimes I have lived. So this time, in many ways, as the planets are beginning to go retrograde, Saturn went retrograde on the 1st of September, and it is that Neptune will be following it very closely around the 17th of the month. And it is that in November, planet Uranus will retrograde back into the sign of Taurus. These will appear to slow things down some. Now, in the outer world, there is the push to go faster and faster and faster. But in the inner space, it is to slow down, relax. And in many ways, make it a point to refuse to listen to every negative thing that the logical mind wants to keep telling you. Things about fear, things about doubt, things that question you, that question your faith from the depths of yourself. You may be discovering that old judgments, painful names, things that have been said about you that were never true over lifetimes are beginning to emerge. But they're not emerging for you to recapture them, to go over them again. They are emerging to let them go, to release that energy from your inner self, to cleanse, to clear. We say relax, release, renew. And so, beloved masters, allowing yourself to utilize the energy that is put before you to assist you in experiencing one, a whole new level of patience, a whole new level of your inner wisdom. If you are patient, patient with yourself, patient with others, patient with life, if you allow yourself to turn things over to spirit and have faith in what you are experiencing. Faith is an aspect that is very much connected to the sign of Pisces in its highest essence. And with the planet Saturn already having retrograded back into Pisces, there will be challenges, there will be tests to everyone's faith. Trust yourself, because people are beginning to find that there are those that they have put their absolute faith into who are now not proving to be trustworthy. But that doesn't mean you can't trust yourself. It simply means that now, new beginnings, you begin to focus your energy on feeling trust within yourself, feeling your belief in yourself. It isn't about doubting others and trusting you. It is more about trusting yourself and feeling as that faith empowers you, that you can actually trust your inner knowing. Trust that inside feeling that everything is all right. Not because someone said, oh, everything is going to be all right, but an inner sense of deep trust in yourself, in God, Goddess, all that is, feeling the trust, feeling the empowerment of you, you who have been in a chrysalis state for quite a long time. And now you are moving toward the end of your time in that chrysalis state. The caterpillar has transformed into the butterfly, and you are experiencing more and more from a conscious place that sense of potential renewal. I am new. I am becoming more. I am blessed because as I allow myself to remember that I am a co-creator with the divine, how divine love reforms me is amazing beyond measure. So people may be feeling within themselves the inner shifts. We've compared it almost to going through the Panama Canal. You're going along and you go through a lock and it raises you up to a new level. And then you go along and you come to another lock and it raises you up. And you may feel energy that feels very much like that within you, that you are being raised up. And dearly beloved masters, whether you feel it or not, it's happening. And that is called ascension. It isn't something you do. It isn't something you make happen. It isn't something that happens to you because you're better than someone else. It is time for every being to be elevated. There are those that will make their choices to stay behind or to wait and not go at the very beginning, as many souls will go forward. But some will choose to wait just to see if it's really going to work. And so, beloved masters, you are at choice in many things. It is the time to choose. Will you hold on to things that have made you unhappy, that have made you sick or made you sad? Will you hold on to old angers, or will you allow them to just pass away? The violet flame, cleansing and clearing and beautifying and purifying within you, so that the darkness of the old ways is transformed into the light, the illumination of the emergence of Aquarius. And so the planet Jupiter, that is now at 19 degrees and 3 minutes of Cancer, is moving right along through the sign, bringing a closer feeling to family. But it is, beloved masters, it does not have to be biological family. It can be your cosmic family. It can be those people that you know well who will love you and support you and stand with you when the biological family will turn away because of reasons of the old order, old judgments, old limitations. And so, dearly beloved masters, it is the healing of, you might say, countless eons of time that is bringing the earth to a much broader sense of who we are. Not that one would be more important than any of the others. And so, dearly beloved masters, these aspects are moving humanity into a place of a much broader and deeper understanding within themselves. Those that have believed in these times that they have gathered up the reins and they have taken charge of everything, and that they have, above all people, the right to do as they please. But it is, beloved masters, as you are moving into higher spiritual levels, it is that the karma of other times is coming to be balanced. The karma of other times is coming to heal. For karma is not a punishment. God knows that humanity has punished itself throughout lifetimes for things that weren't even your fault. And yet you have been told that you must pay and you must suffer. And so those old things, as you are willing to allow it, will simply melt away. Leave with all of the past that cannot go with you where you are now moving. Jupiter is square Mars in the sign of Libra, and Libra is justice and balance is certainly, for these times, a very important word, not scales that are exactly equal, but the easy flow of consistent balancing as you live your life, as you make your choices, as you come more into yourself, the balance, almost as though there is a gyroscope in the solar plexus that is constantly, very subtly, microscopically adjusting and changing and balancing all that you are from the very depths of your being. It's always been there. But many of the things that exist within you are beginning to be brought to light. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and therefore Mars is a warrior planet. It's not altogether comfortable in Venus-ruled Libra that is calling for balance because Mars wants to charge out ahead to be the first one there, wherever there is. And Jupiter, in many ways, is opening up that inner illumination in the soul center, expanding that feeling of confidence, of competence, of clarity that so much of humanity has felt they've been denied for a very long time. It is enlightening your inner space. And Mars may want to pull more toward the logical mind that's always in a hurry, always pushing to get ahead. And yet, as Jupiter illuminates the inner spaces, you may find that the wonder of what exists inside of you is almost breathtaking. Feel the glory of the inner space, the connection of the soul to the portal to the other, the places where, yes, souls move when they leave the physical form, and yet everyone has their own unique, individual, divine connection to the one. And so, beloved masters, in the physical world, in the spiritual world, these big outer planets are going to be creating transformation. The push to keep moving, to run faster, to fight more, Mars, is simply going to cause imbalance, confusion, and more frustration. But as you slow down and you take the time to connect your life, your outer world, to the depths of the inner world, to the divine, and feel how you are connected, how you are blessed. And so, dearly beloved masters, the transformational energy as Saturn is sitting in the sign of Pisces at the very beginning of the shift into a whole new way of being. And Neptune is sitting retrograde at the very beginning of Aries, across that point of transformation where the Piscean age is ending and new beginnings are being shown. No, the movement of the ages goes counterclockwise instead of clockwise. Or rather, it goes clockwise rather than counterclockwise, yes. Because if you look at a horoscope, Aries is on the left side, and the planets move forward and around the wheel counterclockwise. But the ages move from Aries to Pisces and now into the sign of Aquarius. So you are having a totally new beginning, a great new aspect with Saturn and Neptune straddling this point of a new self emerging. So many points in the planets now that are calling for new beginnings, that are suggesting that you are emerging. Ascension means rising up over. It is an emergence. The caterpillar coming out of the cocoon is a birthing, an emergence. And as the butterfly flies free, the rising up over. So put your focus on freedom, not getting away from things, but being free. Being free who you are, being free within you, being free to be yourself, but not in the obnoxious way of the outer world that pushes for others to accept this is who I am, so you just accept it. But the realization of self that you can love and be loved by the self that you are, that is one with all that is, and the freedom to be you, the freedom to laugh, the freedom to dance, the freedom to celebrate, the freedom to enjoy being you without having to turn and look at someone else and say, if you don't mind, I would like to be this. For that is the way things have been brought into play by the logical mind for thousands of years. No, you cannot be that, because I do not deem that that action or that choice is worthy. And so the religions, and now in these times, the politicians are saying, no, you absolutely cannot be what you love. You cannot have what you desire. You must live in the bondage of more time spent separate from yourself. But in many ways, beloved masters, you could say the cosmic cavalry is coming, and the energy of those big outer planets is moving, it's manifesting, it's rearranging, so that what you're going to find in the coming years is very new, brand new. It is so different from what you have known before. Imagine the most beautiful land you can imagine, perhaps the most awesome place on earth that you have ever been. Ireland or Scotland or Wales or Australia or the mountains in many places. Tibet, China, many places of beauty that you have seen or been shown. And then imagine that that is accessible to you within. And it begins to transform your perspective of what you see in the outer world. For the logical mind has trained the outer world mind to focus on what is limited, what is ugly by judgment of humans, what is unnecessary, what is unimportant. And these planets are moving you to a place of healing with all of that. The moon in Pisces deals with toxins, toxic thoughts, toxic energy, the toxins that are dumped into the waters of the earth or buried in the earth's side. It is the disregard for the mother is going to be brought to the fore so that everyone is going to be put on notice. It's time to clean up. It's time to care for yourself. It's time to really consider the choices that you make. The sun in Virgo is also about healing. It is about the healing aspects of the earth, natural medicine. There is one that is in charge of the health of the country in this time in the United States who has vague memories of what it would be like to have the natural medicine, the healing that actually heals. But it is that the conflict between science and the natural world is being called to balance. And it's just not quite time yet. But it is up to each individual to focus on your own wellness, not upon your disease or what's wrong with you and how to get rid of it. But I am well, I am healthy. The logical mind is going to be there saying, no, you're not. Let me point this out. Or don't you remember that? Dearly beloved masters, it isn't about focusing on what you don't want and trying to get rid of it. It absolutely is about putting your focused intentions on what you desire. Feel health. Feel the warmth of healing. Feel the cleansing and the clearing and the purifying of the white fire and the violet flame moving through the cells of your physical body, transmuting and transforming the energy of your mind and your emotions. Purification, cleansing and clearing. Pisces is all about water. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. Therefore, it is also about water, but it also is about the waters of spirit, the cleansing, detoxifying mist of beautiful rainbows flowing through your system, cleansing and clearing and purifying. Just focusing, dearly beloved masters, on purification, not what to do or how to do it, but allow spirit to give you advice, direction, clarity. You may suddenly have the urge to change your food intake, to be more conscious of eating organic and making sure that it's really organic and not just something that says it is. To purify with clear water, clean water. And here again, to be as sure as possible that the water that you're drinking is really pure and not just tap water that's been put in a jug with a label on it. So a great part of the healing and the purification is that each individual really begins to consider caring for themselves. Parents taking care of their children, but also listening to the children who, as you talk to them about eating good food and drinking pure water and making it feel so inviting that the children want pure food and pure water. And that begins the movement, the redirection of the next generation to really want to be clean, to be healthy, to be able to care for themselves. Therefore, more attention to the world of pure water, especially in places where there's very little water supply, to have healthy food that is provided and supplemented by every country, that there is not a singling out of who is worthy and deserved, but that there is the equal and unconditional caring of every being on this planet. No judgments that say, you cannot have this because I do not like you, or you cannot have this because you are unworthy. But the thought from the very soul center of purification, of cleansing, of thinking clear and clean and healthy. And be amazed that as you focus on the vibrance of purity and health, that you begin to feel more vibrant, more healthy, that the idea of purity not only attends to your physical body, but to the energy bodies of the mind and the emotions and the spirit. And so, beloved masters, these big planetary shifts, Pluto sextiling Uranus, major changes, many secrets being revealed, secrets, yes, of things that have been hidden that should have been known, but also secrets that will bring you new understanding of how to create health, purity, and clarity. So these aspects are bringing, especially in the United States, a definite spin of the wheel. In the heavens, it has been beyond the seeing of most of humanity. There is the wheel of life that turns and turns as life moves forward. And the more that you become adept at allowing yourself to unify with the inner world, with the other, the more your vision will clear and the more you will be aware of the great wheel. It's been hidden by the veils of illusion, but those veils have been taken down. The only veils that you have to deal with now are your own veils of illusion that have hidden the inner world from you for so long. So, transformation, the beginnings of a whole new world, the endings of things that have created what humanity has called life on earth for so very long, and now it's time for that to be very different. So feel, see with your inner eyes, listen not to try and hear, but listen for the words, the tones, the frequencies within you that notify you of the changes. You've just moved into a higher plane. You've just experienced a great release. And in that release, you may feel a lot of relief that can cause you to relax. The relaxation allows you to release, and the releasing makes a space for renewal. And so, beloved masters, over and over, life has been like the wheels turning. But this time, as the wheel turns, it's going to bring in a whole new earth. And you get to be a part of it. You will be a part of it because you are here. You will be a part of it as everything transforms. But dearly beloved masters, when you make that inner pledge, dedication to yourself to let go of things that you have dragged through lifetimes and to bring home pieces of yourself that you have left behind in other times, so that as you emerge into the higher levels of consciousness, you feel whole. You feel fulfilled. You feel the equality that says, I'm not equal because I'm just like everyone else. I'm equal because God blessed everyone with the same tools, the mind, the soul, the heart, the feelings, the capabilities to create. And that makes me equal. I am equal in my most unique individuality. It sets me apart. It makes me unique, but it doesn't separate me from the whole, because that is something you will be experiencing more and more within yourself, is that feeling that I am one with every being on this planet. And the logical mind pulls away and says, I don't want to be one with everyone on the planet. And yet, everyone, no matter what it looks like in the logical world at this time, has gifts and talents and capabilities that, when shared with the whole, become amazing opportunities for growth and understanding and oneness. Oneness. I belong. Oneness. I am included. Oneness. I am a part of all that is. So if someone is creating something wonderful, I get to feel the joy of that experience, not to take it away from them, but to just experience the delight, the refreshment, the renewal. In fact, the very idea of stealing, of the need to take things from other people, will become less and less attractive, or in some cases, the thought of necessity. But as you move into the higher consciousness, as you feel yourself a part of the whole, you also are able to tap into the blessings, the treasures, the new becoming, which is like the breath of life. And so, beloved masters, the lunar eclipse puts the focus on the powerful changes out in the world that come from the places of mystery. the places of the hidden, the places of secrets. The moon becomes dark in a lunar eclipse. And it is that it is not seen, even though it is very large compared to the earth. So if you say the earth is a marble and the moon is a balloon and the sun is something very large and round. So when that occurs, that the sun, or rather the earth, passes between the sun and the moon disappears. When it's a solar eclipse, the moon passes between the sun and the earth. And that way there is no light there, even though the moon is not that much different from the sun or from the earth as it comes to be. So, dearly beloved masters, as you look at the planets, moon, sun, earth, all of them great and small, and yet each one has a powerful, powerful influence on the way your life is changing. So enjoy this time of outer energy, the full moon, but also the fact that the lunar aspects call you to focus more on the divine feminine, on how the inner is being influenced by the outer, the healing, the changes, the new beginnings, the endings of things, some that you will celebrate and some that will bring sorrow. But all of those endings are necessary. And so we will now open the circle. We thank the North, the ways of the teacher. May we be students and may we be teachers all together. And we thank the West, the ways of feelings and emotions, which may run high in great storms in these times. We thank the South, the way of the dragon, that ancient energy that is awakening in each and every being now in these times. And we thank the East, the ways of the mind, of freedom, of flow. And so the circle is open. Blessings upon all who have joined us as you go out into your day, into your night, to experience the things that we have offered you to help you to feel more comfortable within yourself in these times. And for all that would desire to stay and share with us, that it is, we welcome you to know that the door is always open and love is in this place. And so, beloved masters, I bid you adieu.